Studies have shown that many animals can cross-modally recognise conspecifics. However, Leanne Popes and Karen McComb were the first to investigate whether this extended to morphologically and phylogenetically very different species. The aim of this study was to determine whether a horse that had formed a close bond with a human could spontaneously cross-modally recognise that familiar individual. The study was furthered by examining how the identity information is processed and whether horses have hemispheric biases. To achieve this, 2 experiments were conducted, with the first using a total of 32 horses as test subjects and the second using 39. A looking paradigm was set up where a hidden speaker was placed in the horse's binocular vision, with one person standing to the left and one to the right of that hidden speaker in the horse's monocular vision. The speaker would play back a recording of one of the people calling the horse. 15 seconds would lapse where the horse's behaviour was noted before a second recording was played back, which was the other person calling the horse. The following graphs show the mean response latency, the mean looking time, and the mean number of looks that the horse has displayed during the experiments. The grey bars represent the familiar people, and the white represent the unfamiliar. As expected, results from experiment 1 show that horses tended to look faster, longer, and more frequently at their familiar handler when they heard that familiar voice, rather than when they heard the unfamiliar voice. This was more prominent when that familiar handler was standing on the right side of the speaker. This was not consistent when the horse heard the stranger's voice, however. In experiment 2, both handlers were familiar, with the grey and white bars distinguishing between the two. Results from experiment 2 are consistent with what we saw in experiment 1. It was found that horses can spontaneously cross-modally recognise a familiar person. They couldn't match the stranger's voice to the stranger, and it's unclear whether this is because it can't be done or whether the horse is simply unwilling to respond to that stranger. Furthermore, it was found that horses tended to better recognise an individual when they were standing on their right side, i.e. their left hemisphere, than when they were in their right hemisphere. The right hemisphere of the brain is initially used to process identity information, whereas the left is used to process the retrieval of memories. After analysing results, the hypothesis was made that the evident left hemisphere bias is due to the positive emotions that are associated with the person they are hearing and seeing. This study gives owners and handlers alike a good insight into how the horse's mind works. This helps society in developing ways better to handle horses, making for happier relationships and for better welfare of these great creatures.